welcome back to the series on how to paint your kitchen cabinets. We've gone through previous videos of our tool list, of how to spray a door, of how to dry your door. You can find those videos in the description below. And now we're gonna move into how to prep our cabinets. So you're gonna wanna incorporate in prepping the floors that fancy tool that I showed you earlier, the famous paper gun. You'll use your first strand, which will hold your tape and your paper, and you'll ride that along the border of your cabinet. The reason why you're gonna do that first is you wanna make life easy. If you're trying to use the big rosin paper, as you'll find in the tool description, it's gonna be very hard to get that close to your cabinet and tape it straight. So let your first row be your paper gun because it's very easy to work with. And then on top of that, the rosin paper that we put here actually is actually sitting on top of the paper from the paper gun, okay? So that simplifies life for prepping your floors. But that is a super important step because you need to protect the floors, and we don't want to overspray. We don't want damage in case anything drops as well because you're working with a lot of tools, okay? The second item is you're gonna wanna make sure you prep your countertops. And so what you're gonna do is just make sure these are covered with paper, and you can kind of get the idea. There's not really a right or wrong way to do it. Just, follow whatever's comfortable. You can do your first border with the paper gun, and then you can ride rosin paper and cut it with a razor blade and tape it. That's pretty much what we did here. We did this section with paper gun, this section with the rosin paper, and then we just kind of cut it clean with a razor blade and wrapped everything with Scotch tape to make sure it was down nice and tight. I tell my clients, you don't have to take anything out of your cabinets. We prep them in such a way to where we can come in, finish, and when we get out, it was no hassle. So the methodology we like to take is I like to use Scotch tape. Many times you'll have a lip that sits out from the edge here that you have something to stick your tape to. This one we did not. These are nice flush mounted cabinets. And you have to know when you're prepping your kitchen, there is prep that matters and then there's prep that doesn't matter. Okay, the prep that matters is make sure you sand your doors, make sure you put the right primer on. The things that don't matter is how perfect your plastic looks, because as soon as your perfect cabinets are painted, you're gonna rip down that prep work and you're never gonna see it again. So you can even see here, the way that we followed it, we actually prepped this door with tape and plastic, and you would think, wow, that was taped shut. Well, my client can actually use it in the meantime, but when we close it, we've got a perfect seal, okay? So I don't necessarily do this for every kitchen, but it worked for this one. So you have to do what works with your situation, okay? I'm actually gonna take you down here and I'm gonna show you how to prep one of these backs, because this can be a little frustrating and a little difficult if you've never done it before. For these interiors, depending on what type of tape I have on the job site, I prefer 2-inch, so you've got a little bit more room to work, okay? And you're just gonna wanna make sure that you're pulling from corner to corner and then pull it a little further beyond the edges so you've got a little bit of playroom, okay? So if you were to pull it, I wouldn't wanna be perfectly tight, I wanna be over a little bit. A little trick, stick to your shirt, rip it straight, okay? So take your sticky end, obviously you'll know which end that is. Side note, number your cabinets. My God, if you don't number your cabinets, you're gonna be taking days to put it back together, okay? So we numbered the drawer face, and then once I took the drawer out, we put a piece of tape on the inside and put the number on the inside. So when I have to put everything back, I know exactly where everything goes. I even do that with my hinges. So if you look down here, you can actually see I wrote on the hinge. And I know some people are gonna go, don't write on your hinge. Well, you're not gonna see that because it's actually sitting inside the pocket of the door. But what I did is I numbered my door on the inside of the hinge hole, taped over the number so that as you paint, you're not covering that description. And then you put the same number here, but I also put an arrow with that, okay? So I know if this hinge gets mixed up when I take it off, I know it's my lower hinge, and I put an upper arrow on this other hinge before we took it off, so that when they get mixed up and I have to put them back, everything is back where it's supposed to go, okay? That's very important that you put every hinge back in the same spot, every door back in the same spot, every drawer front back in the same spot. So take your time to make sure you're numbering your cabinets. It's gonna take you a minute as you get started. It's gonna be a little frustrating, but it's gonna pay dividends in the end, okay? Here, I'm just gonna barely press down that edge, okay? I might make this look easy if you're kind of doing this on a weekend. So it's gonna take you a few times to kind of get it right. And that's okay, don't get frustrated. Take your time. Perfection's in the prep, isn't it? If you get your prep work right, the painting is the easy part. Hopefully. You chose to paint your kitchen cabinet, so maybe not so much. Painting kitchen cabinets is a big task if you're not a professional. and can feel overwhelming. But if you watch all these videos that I've given you guys on painting kitchen cabinets from start to finish, it is going to be very, very easy to follow, okay? Just watch them a few times. And if you need help, if you start painting your kitchen cabinets and it's like, man, I could really use some advice, just put your comments in the comment section below and I'll answer you back. I'll do my best to try to reach out to you if you have individual questions. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm taking my time to measure, finding my tape. I'm not rushing it because this is not something you want to rush. You want to make sure you get it right, okay? And as you extend, the trick is get the corner tacked down. Okay, you're gonna press it down so it's nice and tight. And then you see how I have that nice length. You kind of just line it up as you go, and then a quick, we've got it, okay? So you notice I'm only pushing down on my edge. I'm leaving that flap. You need that flap for your plastic. Some people like paper. I personally don't. I think it's fancy for the videos. Paper looks good when the paper's sitting back here. I don't think it's practical to put it inside the tape. I think it's very frustrating personally. I think this is just super easy to, once you get your plastic in, okay, and again, just get that lip stuck, okay? There, work it on straight edges. So finish your top first, then you're gonna have your side to play with. People are gonna go, wow, I thought you were a professional. Listen, I told you, there's prep that matters, then there's prep that doesn't matter. This prep is one of those things that when I'm done, I'm gonna punch it with my fist and I'm gonna take it out in about 30 seconds. So I'm just looking to make this thing airtight. That's all I'm concerned about, okay? So now I'm gonna make sure that we don't have any of this. This is what you don't want, okay? Look what it can do. See how it's touching an area that I have to paint? So when you spray, your sprayer has a force. So if I shoot it at the plastic and this plastic jumps and gets into my finish, that's not gonna be good. So just take a little piece. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just make sure it's tacked down. Bulletproof, okay? So that's how you're gonna prep the interiors of your cabinets. Many of you are gonna find easier situations. If you have a lip, you can just tack your tape to the outside and then press your plastic clean. I don't have that luxury. This is one of the very few cabinets that don't have those type of edges that you can tape to. So this is a much more difficult situation. This actually took one of my guys an entire day to get this thing taped off because we have 50 cabinets. But you know what, once you get it and it's right, this is the proper way to prep your cabinets for painting. Well, thanks again for watching how to prep your kitchen cabinets for painting. I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please hit that like button. Or if you're looking for future videos on how to paint, you can hit the subscribe button. Also, if you would like to click the link to the next video, we're actually gonna paint these cabinets right here. We're gonna show you how to use the sprayer, do a proper application, not to overpaint, all the good techniques. So jump on in with us in the next video.